ABC 57 News.
I don't know if it was an intentional shooting, but I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure they were just, and I'm a gun owner myself.
4 people were injured on New Year's after a shooting at a South Bend party. We'll bring you the reaction from neighbors in the area. Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to ABC 57 News at 11. I'm Samantha Johns. Brenda Coopson has the evening off. The new year rang in with a violent start in South Bend after a shooting just after midnight on the 1500 block of South Miami Street Friday evening. 4 people were shot but faced non-life-threatening conditions. ABC 57's Levon Whitaker is live from Miami Street with how neighbors are reacting to the first shooting of the year. Levon. Michigan schools are working to recruit more than 500 mental and physical health professionals to respond to the pandemic. This comes after the American School Counselor Association said Michigan was the second worst state in the 2019-2020 school year for a student-to-counselor ratio of 671 to 1. The association recommends a 250 to 1 ratio. The effort to improve that ratio is part of the state education budget Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed this past summer. Michigan's minimum wage is now $9.87 an hour. The 22-cent increase went into effect on Saturday. The raise was supposed to happen in 2020, but it was delayed due to high employment numbers early in the pandemic. The wage for tip workers also went up from $3.67 to $3.75 an hour. And the company that operates the Indiana toll roads has launched a smart parking network to help truck drivers. The network will use sensors and cameras to allow commercial drivers to see how many parking spaces are available at rest and truck stops. The IRT concession company says the network's goal is to create a better travel experience for truckers by letting them plan rest stops on trips along Indiana's tollway. And if you're needing clean water in Benton Harbor, there will be 2 different times at Benton Harbor High School. Volunteers will be there from noon to 2 and again from 4 to 6 to help you. If you can't make it out and need water delivered, call 211 or the Berrien County Health Department. And stick with ABC 57 for continued coverage of the Benton Harbor water crisis. We'll bring you the latest information as we learn it both on air and online at abc57.com. And if you live in South Bend and need to get rid of your Christmas tree, the city is helping you out. There will be free recycling of Christmas trees starting tomorrow. It runs through January 31st. Trees will be collected on trash day. To schedule a pickup, go to southbendin.gov/tree pickup or call 311. Your tree needs to be cleared and on the curb by 6 a.m. on pickup day. Artificial trees and those with metal will not be collected. And if you haven't been vaccinated but want to, there will be a chance in Plymouth tomorrow. It will be in the Pearl Conference Room at Lifeplex from 3 to 6 in the afternoon. The St. Joseph Health System will be offering first, second, and booster doses of the vaccine. Walk-ins are welcome. Be sure to bring your insurance card if you have one. The Food Bank of Northern Indiana will be closed tomorrow in observance of New Year's Day. The Community Food Pantry of St. Joseph will also be closed. It will reopen on Wednesday. And if you're looking for a pet, now is a good time. The Humane Society of St. Joseph County is doing an adoption special for the month of January on long-term resident dogs and cats. Those are animals at least 1 year old who have been at the Humane Society for at least 3 months. Right now, the adoption fee for them is just $20.22.
We had to leave so quickly. We didn't grab a lot of things.
As crews still search for 2 missing people, others went to check their homes after the wildfires in Colorado. We'll tell you how things are looking coming up.
Makes sense to delay school opening for a week or 2, at least having a remote option for some of those parents.
And kids are set to return to school as COVID cases surge. We'll have what health experts are saying about it next. Authorities are searching for 2 people missing, feared to be dead after the devastating wildfire in Colorado. Heavy snow is not helping the search efforts, as the homes of those missing people are still difficult to search. Others are going back and checking to see what is left of their homes. Many of those families are now homeless, some with no more than the clothes on their back. People are coming together to help each other. Investigators are still working to find out the cause of the fire. It wiped out nearly 1,000 homes and buildings that were destroyed. Dozens more were damaged. The surge in Omicron infections continues to rage across the country. This comes as parents get set to send their kids back to school tomorrow after the holiday break. ABC's Inez de la Catara has the latest. And tracking some coronavirus case numbers this evening in Michigan, since last Sunday, there have been more than 22,000 new COVID-19 cases and 86 deaths. Across state lines in Indiana, more than 12,000 more people tested positive for COVID and 124 people have died since this past Sunday. A Louisiana federal judge has ruled President Joe Biden can't require teachers in the Head Start early education program to be vaccinated. 24 states had been suing the federal government over the decision. The U.S. District Judge said on Saturday the Biden administration unlawfully bypassed Congress when ordering workers in Head Start programs to be vaccinated by January 31st. It's not clear if the federal government will appeal the decision. Biden met with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky today. We'll tell you what they discussed next. President Biden met with Vladimir Zelensky today. Biden told Zelensky the U.S. and its allies will respond decisively if Russian troops cross the border. This comes days after Biden told Vladimir Putin there will be a heavy price to pay for any invasion. Putin says additional sanctions against Russia for military action is, quote, a colossal mistake, unquote. U.S. and Western allies are preparing for a series of diplomatic meetings. The goal is to de-escalate a crisis Moscow says could ruin ties with Washington. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says Biden emphasized his commitment to the principle of nothing about you without you. The tenet is that the U.S. won't negotiate policy impacting Europe without its allies' input. And the House committee is investigating the January 6th Capitol insurrection, and they're planning on televised hearings and series of reports in the coming months to present their findings. The committee says it wants to show the severity of the riot, as well as push back on the former president's claims of election fraud, and examine how he tried to pressure states and Congress to overturn President Joe Biden's win. And it has been another frustrating holiday weekend for air travelers. More than 2,400 flight cancellations nationwide on Sunday. Regional carrier SkyWest Airlines reported 512 cancellations, or 21% of its total scheduled flights. SkyWest operates regional flights for Delta Connection, United Express, and American Eagle. JetBlue reported 169 flights, or 16% of its total. And the high-profile trial of Elizabeth Holmes will continue tomorrow. The jury, who's been at it for 6 days now, will resume deliberating the fate of the founder of Theranos. If convicted, she could face up to 20 years in prison, as well as a $250,000 fine for each charge, plus restitutions. She has pleaded not guilty. Tesla says it delivered a record 936,000 vehicles last year, up 87% from 2020. The company announced its fourth quarter production today. It delivered more than 308,000 cars in the final quarter of 2021. Those numbers are also a company record and thousands more than predicted by Wall Street Journal analysts. Some of them say the global chip shortage is underway. AT&T and Verizon are rejecting a request by the FAA to delay the rollout of their new 5G wireless services. The cell phone carriers sent a letter on Sunday saying they plan to start on Wednesday. This is after both companies already agreed to a delay. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg expressed concern that the 5G launch could disrupt the airline industry. AT&T and Verizon say that the potential interference can be mitigated. America is seeing record high inflation going into 2022. The numbers are so high it could take months for them to come back to normal. The most recent price data from November showed the Consumer Price Index and the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index each at a 39-year high. The central bank is planning on rolling back pandemic stimulus and is expected to raise interest rates to lower inflation. The data also showed prices increased at a slower rate in November than October, though economists say it may take months for the data to reflect lowering inflation. And if you have a BlackBerry phone in your drawer, it might not be better than a paperweight soon. Starting Tuesday, BlackBerry will stop supporting devices running BlackBerry's operating system. This means it won't be able to use data, send text messages, or make phone calls, even to 911. If you have a newer BlackBerry running an Android operating system, this will not affect you. The move is part of the company's switch to offer security software for governments around the world. The first week in box office estimates for 2022 are here. How it shaped up, coming up. And don't forget, when ABC 57 News is between newscasts, you can stay up to date with us online. Just head to our website, abc57.com. That's where you can find more on our stories, breaking news, updates, and more. You can also stay informed with us on Facebook and Twitter. And 2022 began very similarly to where we left off in 2021, asserting web slinging soaring above the competition. David Daniel has estimates for the weekend top 5. And checking out some new content that came our way this week, ABC dropped 2 programs focusing on Mamie Till Mobley. She was a civil rights leader and the mother of Emmett Till. Ben Affleck stars in The Tender Bar, a George Clooney directed movie about growing up on Long Island. That's streaming on Amazon Prime. Comedian Joe Gatto says he's leaving the popular TV show Impractical Jokers. Gatto says it's time to focus on fatherhood. Gatto also announced he's getting divorced from his wife after 8 years. He has a 6-year-old daughter and 4-year-old son. The other 3 say they will create a new chapter of the show with fan support. Thanks for joining us for ABC 57 News at 10. I'm Samantha Johns.
And I'm John Hammersmith.
Have a great evening. We'll see you at 11.